Hello everyone, welcome back to Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy, powered by Planet Green Farm Natura, a new beginning to your life. Today, on yet another episode of Kankatala Q&A with Shilpa, I will be addressing a few of the queries you have sent across to us. Following the tradition, today, I am wearing a Sambalpur double ikat cotton sari. The earthy tone of brown, the absolute perfect depiction of the graceful tribal women of Odisha going about their everyday life, and the artistically crafted red thread brocade border come together dramatically to make the Sambalpur ikat cotton sari a spellbinding vision. The self pallu is a work of art and takes you on a stroll through the vibrant streets of Odisha, where tribal women working hard in unison and relaxing under the trees. A Sambalpuri sari is a traditionally hand-woven ikat wherein the warp and the weft are tie-dyed before weaving. Sambalpuri saris are known for their incorporation of traditional motifs like the shanka, the shell, chakra, the wheel, fulla, the flower, all of which have deep symbolism with the native Odia color, red, black and white, representing two Odia culture along with Lord Kaliya, Jagannath's face color. What is e-waste? Electronic waste, also known as e-waste, is an electronic product, a product containing electronic components that has reached the end of its usable cycle. Unknown to many consumers, electronics actually contain toxic substances. Therefore, they must be handled with care when no longer wanted or needed. Effects. The consequences of improper e-waste disposal in landfills or other non-dumping sites pose serious threats to current public health and can pollute ecosystems for generations to come. When electronics are improperly disposed and end up in landfills, toxic chemicals are released, impacting the Earth's air, soil, water, and ultimately human health. What can be done? If a product is outdated, consumers can donate it to someone who might still find it valuable. Many retailers also offer trade-in programs or incentives for people looking to upgrade electronics that require the surrender of an older models. The retailers are able to reuse or repurpose the older models. However, if a product is totally unusable or broken, instead of just being thrown into a garbage, it must be thrown away by a certified e-waste hauler or recycler or taken to a designated drop-off at a government building, school or organization, as e-waste can potentially cause harm to humans, animals and global environment if disposed of improperly. Fashion industry is being pointed out as one of the main sources of pollution in the world. Materials, processes, a changing and non-traceable value chain added to our own consumption behavior are the origin of this massive problem. How to control? Buy less. A root of the problem lies in our excessive consumerism. We buy 10 while our grandmothers bought 2. We tend to think that buying new clothes will make us happy. Maybe we should reconsider some of our foundations of our lifestyle. Buy clothes from sustainable brands and invest in native weaves to as well support them. Talking about my studio, we made amendments to our business model from last 1 year to bring in more natural fibers and limit synthetic to a maximum extent. This definitely wasn't easy for us because we had to bring in a lot of information to our clients, educate them and then slowly introduce them to the beautiful native fabrics as well as the complete change of styling. Sustainable brands will not necessarily cost more than the designer clothing, for which we sometimes pay high prices for the image but rarely for the quality of sustainability. Think twice before throwing out your clothes. Try to repair them, try to exchange them, donate them or upcycle them. In my studio, nothing really goes for waste. Even a small piece of fabric is converted into a bag or sent away to one of my friends' unit who uses all the trash and unusable fabrics that come from designer stores. Veganism is a lifestyle. Vegan diets eliminate all animal products, that means no dairy, like milk, cheese, no eggs, and of course no meat, poultry or fish. It's natural to become concerned that you won't get enough nourishment, especially if those foods were a big part of your diet before. Yes, you can turn vegan, but it's a challenging process. Vegan diets can be perfectly safe and healthy for anybody. They are appropriate for all stages of life as long as they're well planned. A vegan diet isn't healthy if you simply skip the burger and nibble on fries or eat half the lunch you used to. Teens are in a time of enormous growth spurts and development. It is not the time to skimp on calories or nutrients. There are certain nutrients that are especially important for growing kids, so you need to include plant-based sources. Key nutrients for vegans include protein that come from beans, lentils, tofu, soya milk and whole grains, calcium from fortified non-dairy milk like almonds, kale, sesame and flax seeds, iron that can come from beans, nut butter, and vitamin B12 from fortified cereal, of course without the added sugared variety, and fortified non-dairy milk. You may need supplements. This you have to check with your physician or dietitian to see whether a supplement such as vitamin B12, calcium or iron are needed for your body. Packaging waste and recycling have been high on environmental agenda for years now. But while the focus has been on plastic, one of the domestic and business waste stream hardly gets a mention. You might think that's because glass is not problematic to the environment, but where does glass come from anyway? And where does it go once you throw it away? A very simplified version of how new glass is produced is this. Sand is heated until it melts and then cooled rapidly so it keeps some of its liquid properties, such as transparency. However, heating sand to its high melting point of 1700 degrees Celsius takes a lot of energy, and the manufacturing process of virgin glass uses a lot of water too. There is some air pollution as well. Sulfur oxides are released during the melting process, and nitrogen oxides are generated if the glass is heated by burning gas. On the other hand, recycled glass overcome many of these issues. Glass can be recycled infinitely with no loss of quality in effect. Melting glass to make new glass is same as melting sand. There are different categories of plastic, and Tupperware is made from one or many of those. It is important to note that not all Tupperware items are made from those specific types of plastic that are comparatively better than the others. However, it is advised to go for alternatives like glass and stainless steel. If you have been working on your green resolutions this year, choosing safer food storage containers should be one on your list. The safest choice for food storage is glass. Couple of years ago, glass food storage containers were hard to come by and expensive. Prices have come down a lot, and major manufacturers are adding glass storage to their lines, so it's much more accessible now. If you don't want to make a switch to glass but still want something that's considered safer than plastic, you can choose 304 grade steel containers or silicone. Neither of these materials should leach chemicals into your food. Environmental protection is aimed at maintaining a healthy natural environment. Sustainable development embraces environmental, social, and economic objectives to deliver long-term, equitable growth which benefits current and future generations. Sustainable development is based on the three pillars of sustainability: economic, environmental, and social sustainability. It is only achieved when there is a balance or a trade-off between these three aspects. Sustainable alternatives are available at all price points. It is a wrong prejudice in people's mind that sustainability is for the elite community. There are a lot of alternative products for all price points, like how branded plastic toothbrushes are available from 25 rupees to 100 rupees per piece. Bamboo toothbrushes are also available from 25 rupees to 100 rupees per piece. It's just about making the right choice and finding the right place to buy. In fact, the rural India has a lot of nature-friendly practices when compared to that of urban India. This means that sustainability can be followed by even a simple living person having a city lifestyle as well. In fact, now more than ever, there are several brands that evidently show how they are supplying alternative conscious products for day-to-day use. While living in a city, in a simple way, we can use the metro or carpooling instead of using our own cars to reach our offices. Also, you can carry your own cloth bag to supermarkets instead of buying plastic or polyfibered bags every time you go shopping. All these little practices go a long way when we talk about community sustainability. Farm stays may be interactive. Most of them are family focused, offering children opportunities to feed animals, collect eggs, and learn how to farm and how to live close to nature. Farm stays help one understand the beautiful relation between a man and nature. It is a great experience but may not be for everyone. Resort retreats are a modified new age version of traditional farm escapes where you get to go and experience a blend of both the cultures. For example, there are proper roads, good accommodation, etc. But these days, with more people showing interest in spending a day or two close to nature, there's a shift towards the natural habitat in these resorts as well. End of the day, what actually matters is not where you go, but what you do and what you learn. The experience matters and not the place. Composting of animal manure can be beneficial to soil health while also reducing application time and is more advantageous spreading on hay and pasture fields during the growing season. Composting animal manure has long been used as a soil amendment to improve soil health. Composting has increased as a tool to manage animal manure in recent years for livestock producers. Good composting requires a mix of ingredients that allow the microbial population to consume carbon and nitrogen. A carbon to nitrogen ratio of 25 to 30:1 is the ideal, while a ratio of 20:40:1 is acceptable. Moisture content also must fall into a certain range. The ideal range falls between 50 to 60%, with 45 to 65% being reasonable. Hydroponics is the art of gardening without soil. In the absence of soil, water goes to work providing nutrients, hydration and oxygen to the plant life. From watermelons to orchids, plants flourish under the careful regime of hydroponics. Using minimal space, 90% less water than the traditional agriculture, and indigenous design, hydroponic gardens grow beautiful leaves, fruits and flowers in half the time. But it is important to note that this technique is suitable and advantageous only to certain kinds of flowers, herbs and vegetables, and not all plants can be grown. Coming to how expensive is it? It all depends on the size of the farm and what you want to grow. Setting up a small hydroponic system at home can be relatively inexpensive and uncomplicated. I have seen people building their own models at home using simple water pipes and a motor. Or you can also buy a pre-made kit. Once you set up a system, you may find that hydroponics gardening is less expensive and less time consuming than what you had been doing before. I hope you all found this episode informative. We would like to hear more from you and want to get more questions from you. Please do write to us and drop your questions in the comment section below. Stay tuned. Signing off, Shilpa Reddy. See you next week.